Joining me now is the author of international bestsellers, The Madness of Crowds, The Strange Death of Europe, and his latest work, The War on the West. Douglas Murray, let's start with your hometown, NYC, and its failure to cope with the influx of illegal immigrants who are now being forced to sleep in the street outside the Roosevelt Hotel, which has been turned into an asylum seeker arrival centre. According to the city, up to 500 people are arriving every day, and the locals are not happy, including some Democrat politicians who held a rally outside of City Hall, and they were blasting Joe Biden for being asleep at the wheel on the migrant crisis.
It's interesting, isn't it, Rita? If these Democrats had looked at themselves, say, a year ago and just sort of surveyed what was being said, I think they would have condemned themselves as, racist, xenophobic, MAGA-like Republicans. What other insults would they throw out? I mean, isn't it interesting what happens when reality... Nazis, absolutely. They'd have said that they're Nazis for believing in borders. Isn't it interesting what happens when reality catches up with you? Isn't it a shame that it has to catch up with people and they can't see it in advance? I mean, the numbers coming into New York are really, not that big compared to the numbers that have been coming into Texas, Arizona for years. But suddenly the New York Democrats, who were all happy about making New York a sanctuary city, suddenly 500 a day and the city can't cope. Well, here's some interesting stats. It's estimated that the illegal migration into New York State alone is going to cost New York State $10 billion this year, $10 billion. Now, it's also expected, we got the budget figures a couple of weeks ago, that the shortfall, the deficit in New York in administration will be $10 billion in the year 2025.
Oh.
Can nobody do the math? Can nobody do the math and realize there is a price to pay for this? There's a price to pay in housing if you don't enforce your borders. There's a price to pay in the healthcare and in much more. And I just, have endless contempt for those politicians and others who, when they thought it was all going to be cost-free to them, were urging this along, urging on the erasing of the border. And now when it's come to them, are just filled with inept fury.
Absolutely, because New York is a sanctuary city. Those Democrat politicians and the locals who voted for them voted for those policies. I can tell you there ain't too many cities in Texas that are sanctuary cities, and they're having an influx that is far more than 500 a day.